Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to talk to you about note-making. This is a crucial skill that can really help improve your learning and productivity. The presentation is titled Note-Making and was created with Pi by CBSE. We'll explore effective note-taking techniques, tips to organize your notes, and how to make your study sessions more efficient. So, let's dive in and discover how to make better notes that support your success. Let's take a closer look at slide 2. Here, we start with the advantages of note-making. Understanding these benefits is crucial because they highlight why developing effective note-making skills is so valuable. When you make notes, you're not just jotting things down, you're actively engaging with the material. This process helps improve your focus, makes complex information easier to understand, and enhances your memory retention. Additionally, well-organized notes serve as a handy review tool, saving you time when preparing for exams or meetings. Recognizing these advantages motivates us to explore various note-making methods that can maximize these benefits in our learning and professional lives. Note-making is a way of recording important details from a source. It helps us capture key information efficiently. When we make notes, we're essentially creating a summary that highlights the most crucial points. This process makes studying and reviewing much easier. Today, we'll explore how note-making fits into the overall process of effective learning and information retention. Remember, good note-making is a skill that can improve your understanding and recall. So, let's dive into the basics of how to make effective notes from any source. Note-making has great importance in exams and academic writing because it helps organize main points for future use. When we take proper notes, we create a useful reference that we can quickly consult whenever needed. It makes keeping information handy much easier. Additionally, note-making aids in recalling past events, whether we've heard them or read about them. It enhances our ability to remember and retrieve information effectively. Furthermore, note-taking helps us concentrate better, understand the material more deeply, and it also creates a permanent record of what we've learned. This is especially useful when reviewing or studying for exams. The format of our notes can also help us go through large, complex documents more efficiently. When notes are in our own words, they become clearer and easier to understand, which reinforces our learning. Lastly, note-making helps us distinguish between main points and supporting details, giving us a clearer overview of the content. Overall, the advantages of note-making are clear. It improves focus, comprehension, retention, and efficiency, making it an essential skill for academic success. Let's take a closer look at the note-making format outlined here. First, at the top, we have the main heading, which serves as the title or the central idea of your notes. Moving down, we see the subheading, which acts as a subdivision of the main topic. You can add as many subheadings as needed to organize your notes clearly. Under each subheading, there are the points, the key ideas or details that support or elaborate on the subheading. These points help break down complex information into manageable parts. Next, we have the key or keywords section, which shows the codes, symbols, or abbreviations used within the notes. This section is crucial because it helps you quickly understand the shorthand and symbols, ensuring clarity when reviewing your notes later. Finally, the subheading section provides additional layers of division, allowing further categorization of information if necessary. Remember, you can add more headings below each point to show categories, types, advantages, or other relevant details. Overall, this format helps keep your notes organized, clear, and easy to review, making your study sessions more efficient. Let's take a look at this example of note-making. As you can see, the key here is to focus on capturing the main ideas clearly and concisely. Notice how the notes highlight the essential points without getting bogged down in unnecessary details. This approach helps us review and understand the material more efficiently. Remember, effective note-making is all about organizing information in a way that makes sense to us, so we can easily recall and connect concepts later. Keeping our notes aligned with the overall theme of the presentation ensures we're building a solid foundation for learning and application. Let's talk about the procedure of note-making. First, it's important to read the passage carefully to understand the main ideas and details. Next, make a rough note to get an overall idea of the content. Using a suitable note-making format helps organize the information clearly. Remember to underline the important sentences, as this helps create headings and subheadings, making your notes more structured. Then, arrange these points in a logical sequence to ensure the notes flow well and make sense. The key is to organize your notes in a way that highlights the most important concepts and connects to the overall theme of your presentation. By following these steps, you'll be able to create effective and organized notes that facilitate better understanding and recall. Let's go over the key points for note-making format. First, focus on explaining the main ideas clearly and thoroughly, but keep it conversational. Next, highlight the most important concepts. Those are the ones that will help us remember the core message. Make sure to connect these points to the overall theme of the presentation, so everything stays relevant. Keep your language natural, as if you're talking to someone, and avoid long sentences. Remember, brief and precise is best, with a touch of visual cues like colors, symbols, or drawings to make it memorable. Finally, stay consistent in emphasizing the main ideas, and keep the flow logical and easy to follow. Now, let's talk about the summary of note-making formats. As I mentioned earlier, note-making involves selecting, analyzing, summarizing, and organizing information. It's a process that helps us process and retain information more effectively. There are different formats we can use when making notes, and each one serves a specific purpose depending on what we're studying or the type of information we're dealing with. Understanding these formats is important because it allows us to choose the most effective method for our needs. Whether it's a simple outline, a mind map, or a Cornell Notes system, each format helps us organize information in a way that makes it easier to review and understand later on. So, as we go through this presentation, keep in mind that mastering various note-making formats will enhance your learning and help you become more efficient in handling different types of information. In this method, the page is divided into 2 columns, which makes note-taking more organized and efficient. The first column is dedicated to standard notes, where I jot down the main points and details of the lecture. The second column, on the other hand, is used for summaries, capturing the key ideas in a concise way. This split-page format is actually the most common way to take lecture notes because it helps in easily reviewing and understanding the material later. It allows me to keep detailed information on one side and quick summaries on the other, making study sessions much more effective. Overall, this method supports active learning by encouraging me to process and condense information as I go. In this method, the information is presented through a diagram, which makes it visually engaging. The main topic is connected to related ideas, creating a clear and logical flow. This approach is not only more attractive to look at, but also makes the information easier to understand at a glance. By using diagrams or pattern formats, you can illustrate complex relationships simply, helping your audience grasp the overall message more effectively. It's a powerful way to organize ideas visually, reinforcing the presentation's theme and making your points stick. Now, let's talk about the mind map as a visual note-making method. Essentially, this technique involves presenting the main points along with all their related subpoints through a visual map. It's a very effective way to organize information because it combines text and images, making the content more engaging and easier to understand. The key here is linking everything in a proper sequence, which helps to visualize the flow of ideas clearly. By doing so, you can see how different concepts connect and build upon each other. This method not only enhances comprehension, but also makes your notes more memorable. Overall, the mind map aligns perfectly with the theme of using visual tools to improve learning and retention. Now, moving on to the next method, we have the outline format. This approach involves presenting information in a clear, structured way as an outline. You'll want to use proper titles and subtitles, numbering them accordingly to organize your points effectively. This method helps in creating a logical flow, making complex information easier to follow. It's especially useful for emphasizing key ideas and showing the relationship between different parts of your content. Remember, the goal is to make your presentation more accessible and easier to understand by providing a well-organized framework. So, when you're using this method, focus on clarity, consistency, and logical sequencing to connect your points seamlessly to the overall theme. Now, let's look at the question and prompt format. This method involves highlighting the main points through a series of questions and their appropriate answers. It's a really effective way to review notes because it makes the information easier to recall. Instead of just passively reading, you're actively engaging with the content by asking yourself questions. This approach not only reinforces your understanding, but also helps identify areas where you might need more review. Overall, it's a simple yet powerful technique to enhance your revision process and solidify your grasp on the material. And that brings us to the end of our notes-making session. I hope you found it insightful and helpful in understanding how to effectively organize and utilize notes. Now, let's briefly wrap up with the key points. We've discussed the importance of clear, concise notes that capture the essence of the information. Remember, the goal is to make your notes a useful tool for review and application, not just a transcription of what you've heard or read. Connecting these points to our overall theme, effective note-making is a fundamental skill that supports better learning, retention, and productivity. When done well, it empowers you to stay organized and confident in your knowledge. Thank you for your engagement throughout this session. I encourage you to apply these strategies in your own work and see how they can transform your approach to learning and information management.